Hi guys, this is GSNOM.com and I'm here with the Nubia Red Magic 6 Pro for an unboxing. It's a gaming phone, of course, and it's got quite a few superlatives. I'm talking about the 165 Hz screen, the fact it can go up to 18 GB in RAM, and also a crazy 500 Hz touch sampling rate for the display. It has a fan inside and also a fan accessory here, and you can find it priced at around 699 euros for the version we have here, meaning the 16 GB RAM, 256 GB of storage. There is a link in the description of this clip. So this is a gaming phone, the latest one from the Nubia Red Magic brand, and let's take you through the unboxing. As you can see, we have a plastic protection applied on the screen from the factory. This is quite the massive phone, even though it's pretty easy to wield, in spite of the fact it's 6.8 inch in diagonal. It's made of premium materials with an excellent build, and it's got a system of lighting at the backside, as most gaming phones do. The sound actually reminds me of Mario. The boot up is pretty fast. As you can see, it's a custom interface on top of Android 11. And if you go inside the box, let's see what we got here. First of all, we got the key used to access the slots, only nano SIM, there's no micro SD here, but there's plenty of internal storage. This is the quick start guide, this is the warranty provisions, and this is the case, rather atypical, leaving enough room for the lighting system and whatnot. In here we have a cable. It's a red cable, USB-C to USB-C, used to connect to your charger and also maybe to a PC or laptop which has such a port. Nowadays they're starting to have it. And then we of course have the charger here, which is I would say pretty heavy at first impression. Here it is. It may require an adapter in some countries, and it has a USB-C connector here and goes up to let's see here, 15 volts. It should also offer you 66 watt charging, or at least that's what the battery is offering. We're not as lucky as the people from China who get 120 watt charging, but on a smaller battery than the one we have here. That's it. That's everything available inside the box. We can put everything back in and focus on the phone, or maybe also its accessory. Okay, so a black box with this red marking. Now, as you fire up the phone, you're going to be noticing that this logo lights up, and it's not the only one. You can set up a very nice way of playing with the light. And if you press this button here, you're going to turn on a pretty loud fan. So I'm going to put this phone close to my microphone so you can actually hear it. That's the sound of the fan in full action. It's a 20,000 RPM, very strong fan inside, coupled with a bunch of copper heatsinks to keep everything nice and cool. Now the handset is made of glass at the back side, glass at the front side, and a strong aluminum frame in between. If you look at the frame, you're going to notice a special red button here which triggers the, well, gaming experience. This is the exhaust for the fan. We got the volume buttons, and on the other side we got another exhaust for the fan. I'm guessing one is the intake and one is the outtake. This is one of the trigger buttons from the side. This is the power button. This is more or less like a microphone, and this is the other trigger. These ones offer 400 Hz touch sampling rate in gaming. And once you push this button here, you're taken to a special space, the Red Magic gaming space, and you can see your library of games. You can control the RGB LED strip at the back side, which can light up in various patterns. You can deactivate or activate the turbo fan, and you can do a variety of other things. We got these options here which you can tweak: refresh rate, aiming assist, recording, control settings, setting up the buttons, and so much more. Once you push the button again, you get back to the regular experience. Now, I mentioned the design quickly, and I only refer to materials. If you want measurements, it's a 9.7mm thick phone with a weight of 220 grams. It's hefty on paper, but being so long makes the weight well distributed. Aside from that, I would say that it's rather comfy for its size, and the screen you're seeing here This one is an AMOLED, 6.8 inches in diagonal, Full HD plus resolution, 165 Hz refresh rate, which is impressive. And inside you're going to find a pretty powerful CPU, the Qualcomm Snapdragon 888. In this case, it's coupled with 16 gigs of LPDDR5 RAM and 256 gigabytes of storage, UFS 3.1. The battery is a 5050 mAh unit, which is supposed to charge at 66 watts, and that's pretty fast. The device comes in black or silver. It has an audio jack at the top side. It comes with stereo speakers, we couldn't do without. And we also have a fingerprint scanner in the screen, an optical one, but actually have the face unlock activated, and I would say it's rather fast, although not as secure. If you look at the bottom, you're going to see the USB-C 3.0 port next to the SIM tray and one of the speakers. The other one is basically the earpiece here. And when it comes to connectivity, you're also getting the fast ones. There's your 5G, there's your Wi-Fi 6E, Bluetooth 5.1, GPS dual band, GLONASS, BDS, Galileo, NFC. And on the camera front, interestingly, Nubia didn't want to cut a hole in the screen. They put the 8 megapixel camera separately. While if you go to the back side, there's a triple camera here with an interesting setup. 64 megapixel main shooter with PDAF, 8 megapixel ultra-wide camera and 2 megapixel macro camera, LED flash in the form of a triangle right here, which is pretty cool and all. It can take 8K video capture, and we have, I would say, oddly as it may sound, it has too many camera options. I mean, the core ones are nice and all, but if you go here, it's an impressive amount of features. Star trail, time-lapse, zoom blur, freeze frame, electronic aperture, clone, macro, phantom, light draw, DNG, panorama, ID photo, multi-exposure, trajectory, slow motion, art camera. We also have a pro mode, which is, by the way, the only mode of using the ultra-wide camera. I had some trouble, I actually took dozens of photos, didn't see any option for the ultra-wide camera, imagined it wasn't present, and guess what? It's here in the pro section. You press it like this. Almost missed it. This is the video section with an extra stabilization feature, a portrait mode and a night mode, and I would say that's about it. On the OS front, it's actually Android 11, and it has something called the Magic UI 4.0 on top of it, or better said, Red Magic UI 4.0 applied on top. A different set of icons and a lot of extra settings related to gaming and so forth. You can tweak the cooling fan from here. You also get extras from the light strip setting. You can set it to competitive, you can change the colors, the way it flashes, and so much more. There's always on display features with clocks and so forth. And I would say that's pretty much it for the phone itself. Of course, the core remains the gaming experience, but more about that in the review. And we didn't forget about this little fellow, the Red Magic Dual Core Cooler. If you look it up on Amazon, it's about $45. Just like the name says, it's an extra cooler. So aside from the fact you have a cooler inside the phone, you can have one on the outside. And this is its manual. This is the cooler itself. First impression is that it's heavier than expected. It attaches to the back side, it has an USB-C port at the bottom, and it's going to have to be powered up via USB-C to USB-C cable. Now, normally, you will have to power it up through a separate accessory connected to your PC or to a plug, but in this case, I'm going to connect it to the phone itself. Okay, so the USB-C port has to be facing towards the bottom. The attachment happens like this. You make sure you don't cover any of the triggers or the volume buttons or the power button, and that's about it. Of course, you can also have an app for it or a setting on the device, so you can properly set it up, change the color, the speed of the fans, and so much more. And here we go. It's set up to red right now. It circles to green. It should also go to blue and purple. Now, of course, it gives the device some extra cooling, and also, of course, you may want to probably connect it to another device so it will not impede your gaming sessions. Now we have both of them activated, the inner fan and the outer fan, and you can start gaming in a title like this one. And there are a lot of options to consider here. Once you activate the game, you'll have that panel of extra options to play with. You can mess around with the shoulder triggers, aiming assist, record, controller settings, block calls, and so much more. You can see here the frequency of the CPU and GPU, and once again, a lot of things to play with here. And when you're done, you can return to the game space like this. And I'm definitely going to be playing a lot with this phone, a lot of PUBG and Call of Duty Mobile. I'll be back with impressions pretty soon. Don't forget the price, 699 euros and $45 for the cooler. And that's about it from us. It looks like a very solid gaming phone. It's one of the very few on the market, if not the only, with 165 Hz refresh rate and a crazy amount of RAM. That's it from us. Bye bye.